Take a deep breath in and let it go. It's simple. But here's the thing, breathing affects almost every system in our body. It affects our heart, it affects our brain, it affects our nervous system, it even affects our digestion. And breath isn't just about surviving, needing to breathe, it's also about thriving and how breathing supports your health or diminishes your health. And here's the thing, breathing is unique. And unlike our heart rate or our digestion, we can consciously change it, which means breathing is a direct connection into our nervous system. And there's something that when we think about working with breathing, and if you're interested in working with breathing, there's something that's often overlooked, and that is, what is your starting point and what are you trying to change, or what are you trying to achieve with working with your breath? So 2 things, starting point and clarity as to your goal. You might already know that shallow and rapid breathing, especially into the higher part of the body, if that is your normal resting breathing, then it can keep the body stuck in a stressed state. It can keep you stuck in a sympathetic nervous system state, in that fight or flight state. And slow and steady and calm breathing tells your body that it's safe, it lowers blood pressure, it reduces heart rate, it improves focus, and it even boosts immunity. So in other words, how you breathe today shapes your health now and shapes your health into the future. And the good thing about that is, if you work on changing your breathing today, then that shapes your health today in a better way, and a better way into the future too. But there is a problem, and that is that breathwork is a huge trend. You see techniques everywhere: box breathing, Wim Hof breathing, alternate nostril breathing, fast breathing, slow breathing, holding your breath, all of these different techniques. But imagine walking into a gym and going over and picking up the heaviest weight and trying to lift it without knowing what your starting point is. You risk injuring yourself. And it's the same with breath work. If you don't know where you're starting, if you don't know what your natural patterns are and natural habits are, then you just risk starting with the wrong thing. You might trigger dizziness, you might feel more anxious, and you might even stress your body more. Instead of learning something which is going to be better for your health, you might reinforce dysfunctional breathing patterns. So here's a quick check-in that you can try right now. And the starting point is to observe your breathing. Close your eyes, that often helps you to observe your breathing, and notice your breath without changing it. Is your default pattern breathing through the nose or the mouth? And where does your breath go to? Does it go down into the abdomen? Does it go to the chest? Does it go to the ribs? How fast or slow is your breath, and how is the length of the inhale in relation to the exhale? All of these things are important. You can do a little check-in with how quickly you're breathing by counting the number of breaths you take over a period of time, and that could be between 2 or 5 minutes. So know the time you're taking and count the number of breaths, and then work out how many breaths per minute you're breathing, and that will tell you the length of the breath. But then you need to still check about the length of the inhale and the length of the exhale, because they can be different. It's unusual for them to be exactly the same, so notice that in more detail. And for most adults then, around 10 to 20 breaths per minute is kind of the average breathing, and A slower and more relaxed breathing pattern is really one that we're looking to find. So once you know your starting point, then the next question is, why are you working with your breathing? If your health is compromised and you've been told to work with your breathing, then relearning diaphragmatic breathing might be the direction that you need to go in. Or if your goal is to restore your nervous system to a more relaxed and calm state, then lengthening the exhalation might be the direction, and then you're moving into the parasympathetic nervous system state. Even that one practice of lengthening your exhalation has many, many different ways of achieving it. Some will work better for you than others, and that's something that you may not know. There are lots of different techniques that can help you with even some simple practices. The main thing to remember, I think, is if anybody suggests that you do a breathing practice, that they and you understand what your starting point is and really understand what the purpose of working with your breath is. Remember that breath work or pranayama isn't a one-size-fits-all. It's very far from that. Both your starting point and your goal shape the practice. So breathing is more than an automatic process. Sometimes it's a skill that we need to practice, sometimes relearn, or perhaps we're practicing and wanting to use it for personal development, and then we can explore into our future practice. But before you jump into the latest breathwork trend, pause, please, and ask yourself, where am I starting and what do I need right now? When you know both your starting point, your baseline, and your intention, then working with your breath and not against it is more than just a tool, but it's a lifelong practice that supports your health, and it supports clarity of mind, and it supports personal growth too. I'm Barbara Dancer with Yoga Therapy Whole Person Healing. Thank you for watching this. If you found it helpful, please like and subscribe, and perhaps share with somebody who could use this information. And let me know in the comments, what's your starting point and what's your goal in working with your breath?